my story is the American story. It just happened that I'm Michelle Obama, the former First Lady, that people may pick it up, but maybe why they finish it is because they see themselves in it.
I am here today to speak with Michelle Obama about her book.
My heart is racing.
I am so excited. We're gonna breathe the same air. It's gonna be
Just amazing. I brought a friend with me. You've had a huge range of readers for this book, and I wonder what the kind of core takeaway or message you hope audiences would have, or you feel like audiences have had.
The little bitty journeys that I take you through in my life, that little Michelle Robinson that you fall in love with, you know, everyone has those stories. And that's what tells people who I am. It's not the 8 years in the White House. That's just sort of happened to, and then I was First Lady. But let me tell you what really helps you understand who I am. It's those stories about my Aunt Robbie. It's understanding how we celebrated birthdays. Those stories give us all a wider insight into each other. And I hope that as a country, as a people, as a world, that we start appreciating the diversities of our stories and understanding that that's what makes us human, that's what makes us American. That's what makes us real.
Yeah, that was one of the things I really loved about the book. It felt the whole time like I was meeting a real person who had a specific story and all the resonant details.
Coming from a working class family, a lot of Black women who come from economically disadvantaged families tend to think that their families can't do anything for them. We're kind of ashamed of coming from where we come from. And so seeing all the ways that your family within their means really did support you and really kind of helped you develop into yourself is really important.
Well, and that's the point you said, within their means. My brother and I were talking on the airplane and we were like, the least thing that was important to us was stuff. It was the love. It was the unconditional support. It was the having your back in small ways, and that doesn't have a salary cap on it. I understood how valuable it was not to live in a big house, not to drive a nice car, but to have parents and a family who loved me. And that's the message to a lot of parents out there. If you have love and honesty and values to bring, that is the most important thing you can give a child.
I know that that's why the story spoke to me, and someone that you look up to hear their challenges and to hear where they came from and to see them as a full person and not someone that you're putting on a pedestal is so important.
What I told the publishers that I understood about this book was that, do you know how rare it is that a living African American woman from a working class community gets to write her story in a way that will be read? That doesn't happen. So the stories that we hear that tell us what it means to be human, what it means to be American, they all have looked like a white male that has come from a wealthy background and has become successful. So all of us start to think that, well, my little story doesn't mean anything. But that's what makes us all connected to each other.
Kat?
Was there anything about the process of writing and recording the audiobook that was unexpected or particularly memorable?
I loved my process, the raw emotions of coming out exhausted. I needed to say it, I needed to have it heard, and then I could process it. That was surprisingly therapeutic in a way that I didn't expect.
One thing that really spoke to me was how important it is to block out those critics and naysayers. And I think that's something we all struggle with, especially because of social media.
I talk to my kids about this all the time. What do? I turn it off. It's like, you can't.
Wait, what?
You can't read it. I always say this, it's like you would never stand in the middle of the town square and let people spit on you. No one in their right mind would just show up and be like, okay, world, just spit on me. Because that's what's happening. It's like people are just spitting. They don't know why. They don't know you. You can't read that stuff. It's like, I want to take your hand.
I needed you to tell me this to make it real, and now it's real.
Stop reading that stuff.
Did you ever have moments where you're like,
felt yourself holding back in the writing process?
Oh God, yeah.
many times?
Yeah, oh yeah. The goal is just to get it all out there.
Yeah.
The first test was when I had my husband read the draft, because I wouldn't let him look at anything, because he was like, can I see the first draft? No, get out of here. I didn't want anybody's opinions or their worries to cloud it until it was out. And Sasha still hasn't read it. It's like, I'm getting to it, Mom. I'm a senior. Well, that would be Sasha. The stuff about me, I didn't care, I was like, here it is, here I am. But when it involved other people, I wanted to make sure they were comfortable with it. And once they were comfortable with it, I was like, let's do it.
I actually discuss a lot with my audience about how when we prioritize intimate partnerships, we really do a disservice to how bountiful other relationships in our life can be. So what I appreciate is how you do acknowledge the diverse range of relationships you've had in your life.
I was always the kid who loved a posse, my little girl group. And sometimes all you need is to be heard by people who care about you. Love is shown by being there at dinners, and it's birthday cakes, it's presents. I learned going to college that when you're out of your comfort zone, that the first thing you need to do is build your own community. You do need your posse, and nothing replaces the human connection that we get from our friendships, aside from our partners. And I love my husband, but there are times I need to go to my friends to talk about my husband.
Right, yeah.
And then I went home and I was like, oh, you're not so bad.
I wonder if that's why the book is resonating with so many people. People are recommending it to their friends and family, and I wonder if it's because it's such a deep celebration of community and of supporting one another.
This is why I stay hopeful, because I've gotten to really travel the country. I'm actually meeting people, and that's something we don't do. We don't experience each other, we hear about each other. My story is the American story. It just happened that I'm Michelle Obama, the former First Lady, that people may pick it up, but maybe why they finish it is because they see themselves in it.
John's final question. We've received a bunch of questions about how emotional the book is. I wonder how you were able to control your emotions as you were writing, or were you able to? Like, did you have to go to those places, to the place of deep grief, to the place of great joy, to the place of fear while you were writing?
Yes, yes, yes. The chapter where I go through the, dehumanization, and I was like, I want every negative thing that was said written, because I wanted people to remember that this happened to me. The woman who's an icon, or whatever you want to call me. But I think it was important for people to fall in love with that little girl, Michelle, then take her through that period where you feel like they don't even know her, right? And you can only go there if I go there, right?
But if you can get through it, it's like, well, then we can get through it.
Well, but it's also a cautionary tale of see how quickly we demonize people we don't know. There is a deep fundamental flaw in us when we don't know each other. And when others are trying to use fear as a way to gain control. So it's easy to treat that immigrant or to generalize or to see that gay kid because you don't know their story. That's why I say in the book, it's harder to hate up close. So let's let each other in a bit more.
That's wonderful. I think we have to stop there, unfortunately. Thank you so, so much, both for taking the time to talk with us today,
guys.
but also for your extraordinary book, which we all loved so, so much.
And here is what I have to say finally. Let's invite one another in. Maybe then we can begin to fear less, to make fewer wrong assumptions, to let go of the biases and stereotypes that unnecessarily divide us. Maybe we can better embrace the ways we are the same. It's not about being perfect. It's not about where you get yourself in the end. There's power in allowing yourself to be known and heard, in owning your unique story, in using your authentic voice. And there's grace in being willing to know and hear others. This, for me, is how we become